Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is a 3+ year long anthology campaign that I've been running for the Gauntlet community. The Gauntlet community is this group of small press, indie, and OSR tabletop role-playing game aficionados and fans located across the globe. And we gather together to play tabletop RPGs over the internet, usually Zoom, but other video conference software as well, Discord, StreamYard, what have you. And Star Wars Saturdays is the thing that I offer up to the Gauntlet every week, usually on Saturdays. And it's said Star Wars. So the idea is that I pick a different RPG every month, offer it up to the Gauntlet. There's an RSVP system, and folks will RSVP to it. So there's always a mix. There are a lot of regulars, folks that love Star Wars Saturdays and participate when they can. There are other folks who just dip in, like, oh, there was a particular RPG system I offered up. They're like, I can't believe this is Star Warsified. And, we get together, we create characters for that month. Sometimes it's brand new characters that exist within our ongoing story. Sometimes it's reoccurring characters that come from other game systems. We get to reinterpret them in the new system. It's fun stuff. It's a little bit of mechanics, a lot of Star Wars storytelling. And yeah, it's pretty great. We are at the end of July 2021, which is exciting because that means we're bringing to a close. This is the last session of Plutonian Shore. Now, this is actually the 10th session of Plutonian Shore we've played this year. We started several months ago, and then I brought it back to kind of put a bow on it, maybe tell a little bit more story with some of these wonderful characters. And I've enjoyed, yeah, it's the last session times 3, absolutely, because we keep last sessioning. It's like the show that was almost canceled and got another season, and then it's almost canceled and got another season. This is for sure.
I'm thinking a classic farewell tour by a famous musician. No, for real this time.
It's the Brooklyn Nine-Nine of RPGs. And so Plutonian Shore, game in development from Cloven Pines Games, Starsea Studios, but it's a games. And also for hawk-eyed viewers who may have watched the previous 2 sessions, unfortunately, Bethany's unable to join us, but Greg is here, and we didn't expect that Greg would be able to come back. So, hey, when a door closes, sometimes a window opens, and that's what's happened. Now, we do have safety tools. We have lines and veils and ask first. We also have the X card. All those are on the table. The lines and veils and ask first are all indicated in our character keeper. We're hopefully all comfortable with them. And yes, Greg snuck in through the window. Exactly. Let me give a little 411 for folks as we come to this last session. If I'd really put forth the effort, friends, I would have made it into a crawl. I'm sorry that that's not happened. It's a lot. I don't know if I could have crawlified it. So, hoping to garner more favor with the New Republic, the crew of the Belden Might accepted a operation, a mission, a job to ferry some, to smuggle some supplies to a planet called Arda 2. Arda 2 is located well within the area of Emperor Zinger, no, Warlord Zinj, and his part of the Imperial Fragment. And Arda 2 is this place where the New Republic had stolen a base out from under him, a listening post, and they freed the planet. But of course, it's in the middle of Imperial territory, so they've been harried from time to time. And at this point, for the last several months, there was this blockade. And so, with the blockade ongoing, Whisper Base and Arda 2 were running out of supplies. So, you guys were hired to smuggle as many supplies as possible. You reached Whisper Base, and turned over a lot of the supplies. However, after you had already arrived, an Imperial Star Destroyer appeared in the sky above you. He had that gray triangle, a gray isosceles triangle of terror above you. And as we ended the session, Arana had met an old friend from their days in the Empire, and they were reconnecting. And Sathrin Gov, as well as Val, who it turns out Val used to be a pilot, stole a Lambda-class shuttle because Sathrin Gov had decided that they were going to be able to talk to Nyx, the woman in charge of the Star Destroyer, who was there specifically for Sathrin Gov, and had broken the protocol of the blockade to try to pressure Whisper Base, tried to make them give up Sathrin Gov, but Sathrin went one step ahead. Sath decided, I'll go to you. And so in a pattern much like rhyming, we have Lambda class shuttle carrying a fledgling Jedi up to see a Sith lady. Sith Lord sounds dark, but Sith Lady almost sounds refined and genteel. I don't know what you would call a Inquisitor, Sith Inquisitor. There we go. We'll just go with that. Anything, Kai, Keith, anything I missed that you guys want to throw in our little info dump, primarily for Greg's edification? All right. Let's do some quick intros. Let's start from the right-hand side of the character keeper. Kai, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello. For the third time, I am at the last session of this series. Okay. My name is Kai. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Orana, the former TIE pilot, become pilot of the Belden Might, become captain of the Belden Might, fought over the captaincy of the Belden Might, took over the captaincy of the Belden Might, doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Anyway, she's got this desperate need to correct her family lineage, to tell people that her family does stand for something good and righteous in this world, in this universe. And whether or not she gets to achieve that, probably depending on whether or not she lives through the day. So let's see what happens.
Thank you so much, Kai. Keith, you're up.
Keith Stetson. I use the he, him pronouns. I am playing Sathron Gov, they, them. Sathron is force sensitive. Kefar, maybe at this point, almost a self-taught Jedi with a little help from various droid friends that stowed away on the Belden Might many moons ago at this point, has had various changes of philosophy as far as wielding violence, leaning towards the dark side, leaning towards the light side, is currently in a very complicated relationship with the Sith Inquisitor Nyx over the nature of the Force and trying to persuade each other which way to go about it. And Sathron is the last hope of the galaxy. We'll see how that plays out and to what extent now, but Sath believes they are there to put an end to Warlord Zinj's reign of terror.
Indeed. And now,
might I say, though, maybe the last hope of the galaxy is to defeat Nyx, and not necessarily Zinj. Maybe Nyx is the real the real problem. Just throwing that out there.
That's a possibility I had considered. I'm really curious to see how this goes. Last but certainly not least, the former captain, now cook, played by Greg. Greg, if you can introduce yourself, tell us a bit about Pack.
Hi, I'm Greg Gelder. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Pack Creerch, who also uses he, him pronouns. Pack is a Gran, the three-eyed aliens, from Star Wars. He is an ex-ISB agent, which might come up here with the whole getting onto a remnant Star Destroyer. But he used to have a pork truck back on Coruscant, which exploded in an accident. And so he has a mechanical arm that has done all kinds of strange things when it needs to, and has stepped down from captaining the Belden Might. Although, if we're all on a Lambda-class shuttle flying up to a Star Destroyer, there might be a couple rumblings from him about this not being such a great idea and him having a bad feeling about this. And let's see. I've also he believes in Saf, and he trusts Urana. We've done the trust and tension back and forth, but I think we've all pretty much landed on trust for each other. So it's going to be interesting how this all plays out here at the end.
So that definitely that leads me to a question. Do we want to do a bit of a retcon to have the entire crew trying to get aboard this Star Destroyer? Because the way that we had ended, and I didn't say this, Greg, so the way that we had ended is that Saf and Val had snuck off to steal a Lambda-class shuttle, thereby leaving the Belden Might on Arda 2 near the base. And
I made the assumption that if there was something to fly, Urana was flying it. So
right. Perfectly logical assumption. But I just wanted to quickly ask, do we want to retcon all you guys going to the Star Destroyer, or do we want to do the whole Return of the Jedi thing where we have stuff going on a planet that is important, as well as Jedi going to meet Sith Inquisitor / not Darth Vader, but kind of Darth Vader-y? I'd set up the whole Return of the Jedi, but I don't want anyone to feel excluded if they think it would be fun to go get shot at by a lot of stormtroopers on a Star Destroyer. Sorry, not base.
I'm up for either. I'm not sure which one's better.
I'm thinking on two levels. Like character-wise, Saf was very much trying not to get everyone involved,
right?
But couldn't fly
that was
the
the
ship.
motivation.
So it was like, oh, Val, I can protect Urana, because if Urana knows what's going on, she's definitely going to get involved and is not going to back down at all, is Saf's viewpoint. And Saf didn't want to put her at risk, but couldn't fly. So, but on a meta level, if Kai's like, I don't think it would be fun to just be interacting with NPCs down on the planet by myself, then yeah, come on along. You can have found out or something and overruled me.
Yeah, just to be clear, Pack is on the Belden Might. Therefore, Pack and Urana would be down on the planet.
Well, as an interesting way to retcon it, and as an echo of Saf's origin, could we be stowaways on the Lambda shuttle? I'm at least interested in that for Pack. That he is stowed away on the Lambda shuttle, knowing that this was the plan.
So I have these visions in my head all of a sudden of Urana completing this weird circle and flying in an X-wing. So I would only be able to do that
in an X-wing or a TIE fighter.
Well, there's no. Are there any TIE fighters in the? I thought it was all Anyway.
No, it was a former Imperial base. They do have ATSTs and speeder bikes, but I don't think they had any had any TIE fighters on.
Right. So like she's come around from who she believes in, right? So she finally get to fight in the enemy ship or something like that.
Oh, that's
there might
interesting.
I think I'll stay on planet, and then the two of you fly off for the Lambda shuttle with the stowaway would be my request.
Sounds good. Sweet. Okay, so then let's pick up with Pack. I don't know if you've been on a Lambda class shuttle. It turns out that the compartment that you hid away in, let's say that did TA go, Saf? Did TA go with Saf, or did TA just advise and say, yeah, go off and do the thing?
I think TA would probably come.
Cool. So TA probably gave Pack a heads up, like, hey, by the way, since I'm a very intelligent hyper advanced droid on tactics, I am going to make sure that Pat Creech is with us. That sounds good. Cool. So yeah, Pack, it turns out that the place you decided to hide away in on the Lambda class shuttle was super cramped and also airtight. So you're you realize this and have to get out before they have reached the Star Destroyer. So we pick up the moment of Pat Creech getting out of the smuggling area in the Lambda class shuttle. And you know what? I thought at one point it doesn't matter, but I do these stupid things. Lambda class shuttle interior. There is a picture. I've got it. Let me link you guys to it. It's from an old Pinterest, just so we have an idea. Oh man, it's not very big. So I will share screens. Once I have it, I'll throw it up here. I've got a bigger version, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let me get that one. There we go. No. Yes, maybe. Here we go. Awesome. I'll just open that image so we can see just that. Cool. So I'm kind of imagining, as I look at it, it's in one of these cargo holds here that you pop up and out. It's behind the seats because the Lambda class shuttle is made to ferry. It's a kind of a troop transport to a degree. So Sath and TA are up front with Val piloting. And I guess Sath, you're just sitting in the co-pilot seat looking grim. Like, what is the expression on Sath's face? Are you determined? Are you worried?
With a look, would probably go for resigned. Like, all right, this is what it's gonna be. Maybe also a little annoyed, somewhere in between, like, because this was not the plan. When Sath was like sort of like semi-apprentice to Nyx, but like arguing with Nyx, but like they were in a not actively fighting place, and then Sath was like, I gotta go, I gotta take care of this thing for Orana. I will be back. I'm not fleeing, I'm not running away from you. You haven't
Nyx
won.
is like, you're putting your friends in grave danger because I'm gonna come after them.
Yeah, and then Nyx was like, I don't know, maybe Nyx is like, you didn't come back soon enough or something like that, and then showed up. And it's like, come on, I was gonna get around to it.
Cool. So I'd love a scene of Pack making himself known to Sath before you guys reach the Star Destroyer. So how does that go?
Yeah, so I'm guessing Pack just like can't breathe, right? And maybe panics a little bit and just puts his fist through the door to the thing, and it just slams out. This is probably like it's like quiet, like ooh, dreading moment as we're getting closer and closer to Star Destroyer, and then the door flies across the back of the Lambda shuttle and clatters, bangs around.
And we're in the front, so like it's mostly experience. We're all facing forward, and it's mostly
Right.
just the noise. Gosh, what I think is going on with that? You know what? I'm a little on edge, like you described. So I think it's cat-like reflexes, turn around, the lightsabers out and on immediately, and like fighting stance in the doorway of the connecting tunnel between the pilot's area and the passenger area.
Pack just like stumbles out. I don't know if Pack's ever seen you with a lightsaber.
I say go with no, because that would be
true.
interesting.
Nice. Yeah, you see what is, again, for the audience and also for Greg, what is the color of your lightsaber?
It is a mix of red and blue, so purple, on the fence between traditional light and dark.
Kid.
So good.
Pack. Jump.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
TA told me to come. This
Glance back at TA. That was
It is true.
that was unnecessary and against my intentions.
What are your intentions? You're flying up to a Star Destroyer.
If I don't go up to Nyx, I don't know that she would come down for me. I think she would destroy the entire base rather than waste the time. She's become impatient with what she sees as her project. I'm trying to prevent putting more people in danger. Look back at TA at that and then look over at Pac. It's not very successful.
So you're telling me that Nyx would destroy the base, or that Nyx would not destroy the base if you were there and you left?
No, she would destroy the base if
Oh.
I was there.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what she's gonna do. Like, this is all.
Right. Oh,
She's made a lot of impressive threats on everything.
yeah, they do that.
It's her love language.
Yeah, the Imperials are like that. And Pac like disengages his arm from it and throws it on the ground in front of you.
How much of Pac's history has he shared?
Very little.
Okay, so that is kind of like, I
Yeah,
guess
I'm leaning into my battle scars move here a little bit. That's what they do to you. That's what you're running into. I used to be an ISB agent.
I think that's definitely a little intake of
Yeah.
breath, like not at all seeming.
Val says, wait, what?
Yeah, this is
We have to make our approach here, or they're going to hit us with a tractor beam anyway. We're too close to turn back.
Seth picks up the arm like, so I'm an ignorant teenager who doesn't know any better. What's your excuse for being on this ship? And hands you back your arm.
to keep you alive.
I don't know that that's a decision that's any sentience to make. The Force will decide what becomes of me when I step onto that ship.
You got a lot to learn, kid. I'll keep you alive.
Oh yeah, and that's totally the moment when we like cut away to the Lambda class shuttle coming towards the hangar bay, and it comes in and lands, and again a bit of the homages, callbacks. There are a whole squad of stormtroopers that are lined up, and at the end of the line, standing there, lightsaber not out, but in her Sith Inquisitor outfit is Nyx. And I think that's where we cut back to the surface. And the first thing that you hear, let's see. Oh, is Orana and Baku like, have they, where do we find them? Are they still doing a tour? Are they like making out in a closet? What's going on?
I imagine them like in a crew mess, like with oh. Did that happen?
Yes. You guys are in the crew mess. You guys are eating a little bit.
No, we were having beers. I was going to say we were having beers and we're just talking and talking and talking.
Yeah. You guys are talking about old times, and maybe he even I think there would be a point where he would ask like, hey, whatever happened to Azalin? And that would be Lieutenant Azala Sivron, who you kind of had a little. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's a story. And then I think that's when the klaxon starts.
Yeah, that's when the klaxon starts. And this used to be an Imperial base, so that's why the Imperial klaxon happens. And people are looking up, and over the loudspeakers, you hear a woman's voice. She says, staff of Whisper Base, this is Major Mothma, there is a Star Destroyer in orbit over our location. Everyone, this is not a drill. Batten down the hatches, be prepared. Our ATST and speeder bike crews get to the garage, and I need, and she starts calling out some names, to meet me in the briefing room. We're going to keep this dish from being destroyed. And Baku looks at you and says, okay, well, I guess this gets cut short. Did you bring this? Is this your fault? Are they after you?
After me? No. I have an idea why they might be here. And so like I try to get Saf, you know, like with the walkie-talkie or whatever it is we have. And I'm like, hey, Saf. Sathran Gov?
Is that something that you think would reach?
No.
Okay.
Val. Pack? Oh God. And I get up and I start running back to the bay where the Belden Mite should be.
Yes, the Belden Mite. She is there. But it seems to be a pretty empty ship. You basically got a pair of droids, one of which is still in the closet, playing solitaire.
And winning. I mean, that thing's a tactical genius. But do I turn around and I see people getting onto X-wings and stuff like that, or A-wings? And
yeah, that's the funny thing. This shit, because of the blockade, they haven't really stocked up a whole lot of fighters. Like at this point, it's the Belden Mite, and I think maybe one X-wing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been this weird Cold War where they've had to, any ship that's left hasn't really been able to come back.
Interesting. Okay.
You do see that they have a few ion cannons they're firing up already. Like they're just firing. Whatever Cold War's going on, they realize, oh, there's a Star Destroyer up here. Let's just start getting a few shots in right friggin' now.
I see. Okay.
But the Star Destroyer has not unloaded. Like planetary bombardment has not begun at this point. What do you do?
Wow. I don't know what I do. I'm alone.
That sucks.
I think she just collapses into the pilot's chair for a moment. I mean, she's the quote unquote captain, and there's no crew. This ship isn't built for combat. Even if it was, she'd have to man the gun instead of manning the pilot station.
Yeah.
Even the droid that was hooked up to fly the thing is gone by Val. So, wow.
Okay. So let me step out for a second to have a quick conversation.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to offer potential options.
Yeah.
So the Star Destroyer is going to be sending some shuttles full of troopers and the like down to try to take Whisper Base. So there's going to be some like ground battles going on soon. There's also the possibility that Orana could say, hey, the Belden Mite's big and she's tough. I could get some people onto the Star Destroyer and maybe we take out the threat before it starts planetary bombardment. There are a couple of options there. Do either of those interest you?
How would the Belden Mite get on board the Star Destroyer?
Crash.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Basically get as many troopers as you can on it and just try to dodge a bunch of shots coming at you and go through into a hangar and then
Oh, into the hangar. I see.
yeah.
Okay, that
yeah.
makes more sense. Okay, she bolts upright and runs, and she finds somebody, and she's like, if you want people on that destroyer, get them to the mite now.
Nice.
And,
cool.
and so then,
I think
she starts
you
preparing.
yeah, if you look at the Whisper base, I think the person you reach is the woman by the name of Rincy Tosh, and she says, that is the best worst idea I've heard all day. And she's
Got 'em.
gonna like
I've got a lot of them.
she kind of puts her fingers to her lips and whistles, and pretty quickly there are a bunch of troopers, like basically a squad and a half that are they don't have specific duties right now other than help defend this base. And Rincy Tosh gets in contact with Major Mothma, and she sends you guys into the ship. This is Tosh says, I hope to hell you can fly. And Baku will say, oh yeah, she's the best pilot from the Empire. I mean, best pilot we've got.
Thanks, Bucker. You're the best. Which one of you is a gunner? We're walking and talking here. Walking and talking.
Yeah,
Gunners?
Pex goes, it's me.
All right, you've got the gun. Everyone else, what we're going to do is we're going to take the planetary orbit. We're going to wrap around with the moon that's in its demon moon phase. What was it you called it last time? Where the moon's too close to the
the demon moon. Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna slingshot around the moon through its demon phase, and we're gonna hit them where they can't they aren't expecting to see us.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That is a great plan. Sweet.
I've been waiting on that demon moon thing. I've been waiting.
Such a good. Oh, it's so good. So good. Sweet. Good. So you've got about 20 souls ready to fight and die alongside you as you pick up the Beldamite, taking off, and you see a few ATSTs that have kind of come out, and they're ranging around Whisper Base, and a few speeder bikes that go out into the jungle as these people are moving like ants. Like they've been trained for this. They're not running around crazy, but it's fast action, trying to make sure they don't lose Whisper Base. And as the Beldamite is taking off and you start heading towards the Demon Moon, you see there are some Rupings that are flying, not like in formation, but kind of near you. And there's like this redheaded woman. She's got this weird kind of shock spear, and she shakes the spear like triumphantly towards you, like, go. I mean, because it's Star Wars, right? You got to have those moments of like everybody screaming and getting excited. And then from that tonal moment, we immediately cut to the Lambda class shuttle. And yeah, Sath, Nix is waiting for you. What does it look like when Sathran Gov leaves the shuttle? And what do you do here?
I guess my question is, what is everyone else doing to mess up my plan further? Who's on this shuttle? Because the original plan was just, I'll go out there and I'll deal with the consequences, and hopefully I don't die. But if that's what happens, being dead is not the end necessarily. So
look at you. You're all Jedified now. You don't care about death.
I don't know that I believe this entirely. Like, it's one of those, I'm trying to believe it. But now that there's Val, Pack, and TA on this ship, I don't know that the plan is my own anymore.
I think Val was always on board with like, yeah, I'll just drop you off and then I'll get out of here. It's fine.
I'll pick you up later if you need it.
Yeah. It's fine.
So I guess the question is if Pack is getting in the way or like overriding.
I don't think Pack has thought this through a whole lot more than Sath. But I think I mean, TA brought me along for a reason, right?
Mhm.
So you're at the will of a droid.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
think-
don't worry
yeah.
about that. TA brought you along because we want you along.
Right. I'm just trying to think what a tactical droid would want Pack to be along for.
I just
So
came
I'm-
on screen with
Banana.
and a banana. That's great.
I'm thinking he TA's got tactics, guns, blah 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 blah, but doesn't have the emotional like human
Right, the emotional
connection.
wherewithal.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a thing to like that Pack could fill that role.
Nice. Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah,
Seems
maybe
logical.
TA just tells me stall them for time. And so I think maybe Nyx is expecting Sath to be the one walking down the ramp, but instead it's just a Gran, and he's got like an apron on.
Oh my god.
He's just wiping his hands on his belly.
How did you get me to not be the one to walk down?
I don't know. Maybe I just pushed you aside.
Wow, that's great. This is shaggy. This plan's gotten more and more shaggy as it goes. I love it.
You know, I think the way I'm picturing it is like there's a little bit of self-importance going on with Sath being like, I'm the only one that can do this. Maybe true, but still egotistical. So I think if Pack played into that, like, I'm not sure exactly, but like you need to essentially do your makeup before you go out on stage kind of thing. And then
Yes, some play into your vanity a little bit.
and then while Sath was distracted, just go out instead.
I love it. That's
You're
great.
gonna meet Nyx looking like that.
You don't like my outfit? What?
Head Pack. That so we cut ahead to like Sath trying to finish up getting ready, and Pack walks down the ramp, and Nyx with her crazy, scary looking Sith Inquisitor helmet with that red visor, eyes across, and it's definitely inspired by Darth Vader, right? And she tilts her head to the side when she sees you. And then she says, "Take this one away." And a couple of the stormtroopers start to move forward. Pack, what do you do?
I think Pack will just reach into a back pocket. It's back here somewhere. Hold on. Pulls out his ISB badge, throws it on the ground. Just doing my duty. To the
These troopers like pause, but you're gonna need to do something to convince her, this Sith Inquisitor, that you're an ISB agent, and turn on the charm, I think.
for sure. Yeah, no, Pack is just gonna let's see. That's a +3, right? For warm. I'm good at that.
You are. It's crazy.
That's a 15.
Holy crap. What exactly are you doing here?
My apologies. Nyx, is it?
Yes.
It's all ISB operation. Sath is on board. It's all good. Taking care of it. The lawless Val. What was Val's last name?
I don't think she had one.
Oh, just Val.
Yeah, it's just Val.
Yeah.
Call her Val Solo. I mean,
yeah, Val.
that's obviously what they tell people call people without last names.
I've also collected a Val. She's a low-level rebel agent. Not a big deal. I'm just waiting for my compensation. And he holds out a hand.
When Sathran Gov is delivered to my hands, credits will be delivered to yours. Which division do you work for?
ISB Coruscant. Picks up the badge and throws at her.
And she doesn't bend down to pick it up. She literally points to a stormtrooper. Oh yeah. She like totally. Yeah, she like
Grabs it with the force.
totally, and then takes a look at the ident.
I apologize. Did Zinj not let you know about the operation?
No.
Sounds like you're being kept in the dark.
She, behind her mask, scowls at that idea. And if you're paid for this effort, you'll report back to Zinj that all is in hand.
Well, as long as I get my payment.
Of course.
Okay then. And so Pat will go up to Sap, who's still on board the shuttle, I assume, and like take out a pair of binders. Be like, listen, kid, it's gonna be okay. And puts you in handcuffs. If Sap's okay with that.
I think Seth needs a little more convincing. Like there was because the distraction wasn't that long. So I'm ready to like come out and be like, what are you doing? Then like, wait, that might be putting Pack in more danger. So I wait like right by the door.
Right. I think you're there. You're ready to go, and you've watched a bit of this chicanery.
Because right now I actually don't have trust with Pack. I spent it, so I think it's like, yeah, you got to convince me a little bit more that this is the plan rather than stand outside and be righteous.
Yeah, so Peck goes up to Saf, and it's one of those like quick, whispered exchanges in Star Wars, and it's just like, she's gonna take you to the brig. They're gonna take me to the command center. I'm gonna bust you out.
I think. Are you turning on the charm again?
I think so. Feels like it.
All right. Let's see. Maybe I won't roll so well this time.
We shall see.
Still a 10.
Still pretty well.
Still pretty good.
Wow. This is bizarre. So on sorry.
Yeah. PCs who let them sway you take advantage to follow through. They're gonna take you to the brig, and then you're gonna go here. And he like hands you like a data pad with like the reactor core coordinates for the Star Striker.
Jeez. So opportunity is fleeting unless you overpromise or undercut your dignity. Which one are you picturing this as?
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Does that happen on a 10 plus as well?
Oh, it was a 10. Sorry.
That was a 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, okay. For some reason, I thought I was in the middle. Definitely a lot of doubt in Seth's eyes, but still like, I mean, I guess the thing is trying not to put people in danger, and screwing with your plan now would put you in a lot of danger. It seems like, yeah, no, Pack's not ISB. Pack's pretending. Oh yeah, Pack's dead if I say that. So, all right, put the binders on me. Do you disarm me first?
Ooh. No.
All right. I don't feel good about this. I haven't felt good about it since I got on the shuttle.
Are you saying you have a bad feeling about this?
I don't think that's a move for me, though. Whose is that?
I don't think that is a move. I just think it's a wonderful thing. Cool. Then we see Pack bringing Sathran Gov out in binders. Maybe your lightsaber's hidden somewhere on you right now, Saf?
I don't think I would have had the presence of mind to hide it.
Okay.
So if Pack did while he was putting on the binders, that's certainly something that could have happened. Or possibly the hubris of Nyx. It's right there hanging on the belt, and she's like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. Like, what? It's who cares? To Nyx, what's an armed Jedi, right?
Like, I've seen you use that. You have no idea what you're doing.
It's true. She might have that idea. Cool. So Nyx will say she orders a couple of the stormtroopers to have Pat Creech paid for his efforts. And then she points to you, Sath. Follow me, Sathran Gov. We have much to talk about. And she'll turn and walk out of the hangar expecting you to follow, but you know there are stormtroopers who will grab you and shove you along if you don't. So what does Sath do?
I mean, I'm going to follow her, but I don't know that that stops the stormtroopers from taking a few shoves for their own enjoyment.
Sure. If you're going through a little bit of a gauntlet here, so to speak.
So, Greg, you're going for like Pack was undercover.
Pack's not really undercover. He's using his ex-ISB. Right.
But that's the story. Is like
right.
I
The Pack was undercover
because I was undercover. Okay.
Yeah.
So I should be feeling betrayed because I thought Pack was thus and such and was actually an undercover agent this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That was my read on it.
Yeah, that's the feel I've got too. Cool. So we'll cut to. I want to get to the scene, so I'm gonna actually jump it in now. We cut to Nyx walking to. I mean, it's a Star Destroyer, right? You have to have a scene on the bridge, like overlooking the curve of Arda 2, and we see the demon moon and like that weird, but you can actually see the atmosphere of the two connecting slightly. And she's overlooking it, hands clasped behind her back, and one of the stormtroopers kind of shoves you forward to stand beside her. You left.
I told you I was leaving. And I told you I would be back. You didn't need to activate your mole.
And you get the sense that like she's still trying to sort out her feelings about this ISB agent and Zinj not telling her about this trick that was pulled.
Now I'm working from, I overheard that conversation because I was by the door. But I'm trying to play it like I didn't, and that I think she was in on this and this was part of her plan. And like, of course, you're all powerful.
Right. She says, you overstepped, Sathran Gov. I had to retrieve you from this planet before Zinj destroyed you. You see, he's just a man. He's not like us. But he has forces. Enough to overwhelm you.
Are these not, well, I guess I can't gesture because I've got, are these not his forces? Are you not here at his command and on his ship?
She reaches up and takes hold of her helmet, and you hear a couple. She pulls off the helmet, and you see was once attractive, but has taken a few lumps in her time. Her head has been shaved because it's more expedient. She looks at you. Warlord Zinj is he's a poison. He's a pretender. You and I, Sath, we can rid this galaxy of him.
So despite appearances, you are the bantha and he is the cart? Your relationship confuses me almost as much as our relationship does. And there's also a little voice in the back of that said, like, almost as every relationship does, if I'm being honest.
I am a predator. You can be a predator. Together, we can rid this galaxy of Warlord Zinj. You cannot do it alone. And I won't do it alone. So you have a choice. You can do it for whatever reason you would like. Because of your friends on the Belden Might. Because you've decided it's the right thing to do.
And I think in answer, Seth just kind of holds up their hands with the binders. It's kind of like a,
She raises a hand and the binders unclasp, fall to the deck. If you'd stayed with me, you'd be able to do that on your own.
It's really having to bite back the "who says I couldn't" response.
Mm-hmm.
And the vibe that Seth's trying to give is like the "I'm listening, let's talk about details," without actually going full agreement.
Cool. So let's cut away from you and get to Orana. So Orana, what you're doing is crazy. The Belden Might, while she's old and she's tough, she's got minimal armament, not enough to even put a scratch on a Star Destroyer. Could take out a few TIE fighters, but you know, as you're on this approach, it's really up to you to deliver these troopers and not get shot out of space. And I don't think this to me doesn't feel like a one roll and done thing, right? I think maybe we borrow a little bit from Forged in the Dark and we have like a countdown clock of you getting them on, but I don't want it to string it out for too long. So maybe we call it a 4-section clock to get yourself on, to get these folks delivered on. And we'll call it a little bit of a push and a pull, meaning that failures could either be harm to you or you lose ticks on the clock. Does that feel okay?
Sure, let's go for it. Season finale.
It is. And then we're going to jump to Pat Kriach after we see a bit of Rana doing whipping around the Devil Moon to do a sneak attack on the Star Destroyer. I'm going to give you advantage on that roll because that's just such a good plan to insert yourself into this this fight. This is great.
Which move do you think works best?
Great question. I feel like as the excellent pilot, I think you've got the ability to take advantage. Oh, yeah, that's right. You already have advantage when you're executing evasive maneuvers, right?
But
Or is this surveyor?
well, there's possibly that, or keep it together where I'm trying to avoid being detected.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Trying to avoid being detected so you can get that much closer. I like that. All right. We know what you're trying to avoid. Roll plus edge.
Okay. With advantage?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Alrighty. So my current edge is 3.
3. Oh,
Roll 3
goodness.
dice.
Good
And
luck.
3, 2. Nice.
That looks like a 13.
13.
Wow. Okay, out of 10 plus, you're in the clear and gain insight. You can ask me one question, and we'll say that you have a tick on that 4-tick clock. Where am I going to stick that clock? We'll just create a reach hanger.
Could I drop to 7 to 9 and take 2 ticks?
There's a hold on. There's a thing on the roller that allows you to build a
That's
tick.
right. Oh, you're the best. Where is that bad boy? I think that's only on the visual roller. This is the text roller.
No, create a new
Counters.
counter. Demon
Counters.
Moonshot. Create. Let's see what
Oh, sweet. Are you making it?
you have one. Yeah.
Yep, I can see it.
Under counters. I don't know where it went.
Where did it go?
Oh, huh.
All right,
It
maybe
was
not.
rare.
Maybe not.
I think we can remember the number 1.
Oh man, I don't know.
I can do this.
Did you hear my request, Rich? You can
No, I
say
did
no
not.
if you want. Okay.
What is? Oh, 7 to 9 to get 2 ticks. That's super interesting. Hold on. Let me.
It's Schrodinger's ticks.
Oh, weird. Okay, so I do see a counter now. Like I've created it.
I see it going up and down.
Okay, so you're saying you're good with a 7 to 9, like dropping down to a 7 to 9 to get 2 ticks. That means you'd have to lose all your edge, mark a condition, or lose something: gear, footing, and allies trust. I get to say what? You're offering that? You're okay with it?
Yeah. Yeah. If you are.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun. All right, so you now have 2 ticks. Which of those 3 do you choose?
I think I'm going to lose all my edge.
Okay, cool. So you come around the Demon Moon and you're staying in what you know, right? This is Imperial, you know Star Destroyer, you know the tech. You kind of hum in by the engines because there's just enough noise there to where it's like right at the last minute when their sensors pick you up. You're tight enough to where the turrets aren't going to be able to get a good read on you. You know the Belden Might is nowhere near as fast as she needs to be for any kind of dogfight, but you with 2 ticks, like you're halfway there. They start to scramble their TIE fighters, and they've brought some of the turrets online, but at this point they're scanning along in the Belden Might. I imagine you're keeping it really tight to the ship So trying to stay out of their firing arc. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not to genre, but I keep imagining the BSG relaunch with the shaky cam, like the camera
Oh.
can't keep up with the ship.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
that
that's
was
right.
pretty neat. I like it. Yeah, we'll say that we're using some of that imagery.
All right.
I like that. Cool. Let's cut to Pack. How do you get back? Like, have some stormtroopers escorted you to a point where there's some guy behind, like a penny, he's like pushing out a bunch of credits, and it's
I was imagining like a crate. I wanted like a MacGuffin object.
oh yeah, I like that. It was a crate,
It's like a
and
hover sled.
oh yeah, and there's a Imperial officer, not a stormtrooper. He opens the crate, and it's so many credit. It's like the credit, tab, like the little bars, and it's Imperial stamped, but you could buy another Belden Might with what this guy has in this crate. He closes the crate.
Oh, I was about to say, Pack picks up one and
Oh yeah.
twirls it in his hand. Throws it back in. This is acceptable.
Of course it is.
How many people are in the room with Pack?
Let's say that in this room there are two stormtroopers and this snide Imperial official.
Cool. So Pack will toss it back in, closes the lid, and then immediately like grabs the lid and lifts it up as hard as he can to hit the officer in the face.
That sounds amazing. Let's
let fly an attack.
Let fly an attack. Yes, sir.
Excellent. +2. That's a 12.
The dice really love you guys right now, and I just want to point that out so that we can remember these times when later
the
dice have decided that
so
you no longer are deserving of its love. Okay.
I will hit them where it hurts. I'm okay taking a couple blows here. Maybe even the stormtroopers get some shots off.
Oh, they're tight, right? So I think what happens is you slam that into his face, and we immediately see like little trickles of blood as he's flying back, nose broken. He's already whimpering with pain. One of the stormtroopers cuffs you in the back of the head, and yeah, you're weathering the blows in order to get him where it hurts. That officer is down, but let's have you mark a condition that's weathering the blows, right?
I will take addled. I think is probably the
sounds good. Yeah. So you get cuffs in the back of the head, and one of the stormtroopers brings up his blaster, and he's about to shoot you. And of course, Fritz is going to quickly stand down, cowhead. Ad-libbed by that actor. Like,
yeah.
Are there even cows in Star and Trooper in Star Wars? We don't know.
Eat Durasteel bucket heads, and Pack will just swing the same lid right into the other two.
Oh, nice, cool. Let's fly a second attack because these guys are going to definitely try.
See, this is when we remember the good times. Okay, so that's a 6.
Yeah,
I can
it is.
spend edge, right? Oh no,
so you spend edge
else
to help.
has to spend edge.
Yeah, other folks spend edge to help you. So I think that is a thing.
I'm just double checking that.
Double check all your bips and bobs,
and still come up short. That's okay. I got a 6.
Nice. You come wheeling around. You knock the blaster out of the hands of the guy who called you a cowhead, and charge forward, knocking the guy to the ground. And there's a bit of a struggle, and then the stormtrooper who had cuffed you before, He fired a couple of stun blasts, and you are knocked out.
Bummer.
Let's cut back to Sathran Gov. The binders have fallen. Snide remark by Nyx. I threw a pic in of how I imagine Nyx looking sans helmet. So just so you have a visual. Because, it's a movie, it's cinematic. Everyone has to take off their helmet at some point. No one, not even the Mandalorian, can make it through 2 seasons without showing that pretty face. And she says, choose whatever reasons you like. But if you leave me again, I will not allow it. I will find someone else.
Are we alone, or is she discussing this treasonous talk with stormtroopers around?
You're on the bridge, right? Like, so there's that walkway, and there are people down in banks, like working on computer, but there are no stormtroopers around. There's no one who's actively listening to you at all, because they know better than to listen to the Sith Inquisitor, who seems like might be the captain of this Star Destroyer, because nobody else seems to be in charge. Short version, no one is close enough, nor do you get the sense that anyone is listening.
They don't want to know. They wouldn't
Yeah,
eavesdrop if they could.
Because she kind of sort of, if she questions them, she'll know. So they just choose ignorance.
So I feel like I want to discuss this plan with her, but I want to kind of change the power dynamic a little bit so she's not on the front foot. And I don't really know how to do that. So I'm going to reach out for some advice from the Force.
You would touch the void, huh?
My thought is like moving the conversation somewhere else, but I'm open to other things. Basically, I want to get Nyx on the back foot is what I want from the void.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Am I acting on Pax's persuasion now?
I think that's Pax. I'd like to see Pax's point of view on this. This feels like
so you're trying to. What are you trying to get Nyx to do?
So I'm trying, like right now, she's definitely got the upper hand, and she's like, "Help me overthrow Zinj," or bad. I'm not necessarily against this overthrow Zinj thing, but I want to kind of switch the power dynamic. I'm not sure if it's what Pac was thinking when I allowed myself to be persuaded.
Yeah, I think Pac's intention, whether it was as precise as this, was to sow doubt in Nyx's mind about them having a full understanding of what's going on, right? Because Nyx strikes me that she thinks she knows everything and is on top of everything, but Pac was trying to just sow a little doubt in her mind that she has all of the the right idea of the chessboard.
Okay.
So I can see if you're doing that, yeah, I can see how that would work.
All right, so I will roll with advantage. It's 3d6 plus 3 is pretty nice. Not as nice as it could have been, but it is an 11 still.
It is an 11 still.
So I hate shouting commitment, but you wield the power with mastery.
Yeah, you wield the power with mastery. So you were what you want from the void. The Force reveals to you a weakness in Nyx that would allow you to shift the power dynamic. If you were to change the tone of this relationship, then you could grab some power dynamic from it. If you were to, she expects you to fight and to buck like a bronco. If you flip and wholly embrace, perhaps even turning the master and pupil relationship to a partnership, even leading towards some kind of romance, it would throw her completely off balance. And even if she doesn't believe it, it would surprise her to the point of starting to doubt even more of what's going on.
I just picture the idea of like, well, you've taken your helmet off. Let's get the rest of that armor off and get somewhere more comfortable. What? But I think that kind of I was just sort of what I was thinking, like just taking control. I like that idea of like, I'm not fighting against you. Like, so I think it's like, let's go somewhere more pleasant and discuss this. I'm sure you have somewhere you relax and let your guard down. And I think maybe that, okay, there is a little bit of an undercurrent of like, you can't wear that armor all the time, right?
That's awesome. And I think there's that moment of surprise and a disbelief, but you sense there's a deep loneliness in the life of an inquisitor. And so despite her disbelief, innate disbelief in such an offer, there's this tiny bit of curiosity at least. And she inclines her head, and you follow her, and we'll pick up with you in a completely different setting soon. But let's check in on Orana, or looking at time. Is this where we want to take our mid-game bio break?
I mean, I'm curious how the piloting goes.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
what
that
we're
next
doing
break.
next. Take a break? All right.
No. Do this and then
Do
Do this
piloting
before
first.
the break. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I just didn't want to rush it. They were going to let the scene play as long as it needs to play, but here we go. So running over the demon moon, use that to mass to get close. You're in, you know that you've got to basically come over the edge because the hangar bay is underneath and you're up on top where all the like satellite dishes and the turrets, and then of course, you know, if you remember the look of the Star Destroyer, it's like a big triangle, and then there's that top part, and that's the command area, right? So I think there's a moment when we cut back to Sath and Nick's talking, and the Belden Might is like trawling along at this point, but the two of you are engrossed in your conversation. So Arana, you know they're bringing the turrets and trying to find a firing arc. You, however, have to deliver this payload as it were. What are you doing? What do we see?
I think we see the might straining against Orana and Orana fighting the might. But what she wants to do is she wants to make it curl around as she's going down towards under the lip, and having like the ship kind of do a rollover as it's getting there to help it avoid the shots that are already aimed at it from the turrets and stuff like that. But I think I'm doing evasive maneuvers.
I think so too. Yeah, this feels like the time when evasive maneuvers need to happen. So you automatically will be rolling with advantage on evasive maneuvers. Evasive maneuvers is a Belden Might move.
Yep.
So you're rolling with the ship Savvy, which was raised by an advance last session. So you're rolling 3d6, keep 2, plus 2. That is pretty good.
Oh, I lost my dice when I looked at the counters thing. Interesting.
Yeah, and the counter thing is now gone for me. So we know we have 2 ticks.
All right.
5 and 2, 7 and 2, 9. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Okay. 7 to 9. It's a bumpy ride. Oh man. Picks a crew member must keep it together, avoid injury or peril on a missed. Okay, so
I can spend trust to give Orana +2. Is that something you would be interested in, Kai?
let me tell you what's on the table to see if you still
Okay.
basically, because all the crew members are NPCs, they don't get a roll. Pretty much you're going to lose your gunner if this mixed success happens.
Okay. How does the unconscious pack help me out?
Yeah.
Remember when we were first piloting the Belden Might into the mining colony, and I like lift
First
up and
episode.
stopped your hand before you were about to do something? I think you're
Right.
about to hit the same button, and you like remember that moment and you move your hand.
Oh wow. Wow. We all saw it in the preview for this episode. We're like, what does that scene have to do with anything?
Like previously on, like, why was this here? I love it. I love those moments when you see it on previous, like,
I love it also
Yeah.
because it puts me in tension with Orana when you eventually
that's
crash
true,
my
'cause you
ship.
spin the trust.
Yep.
I'll take
All
it.
right.
I'll take it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what does it look like on a hit? You shake them, and it's not a bumpy ride, so it's smooth. You're fighting the Belden Might, and then you have that moment where you remember Pac telling you not to hit the button, and you pull it off. What do we see?
I think we see the Belden Might playing chicken with TIE fighters.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think the TIE fighters, off at the last second. And if I'd hit that button, I would have launched us up to hit the TIE fighter at the last second. But I, because of Pac's instructions, I kept it steady. And they all veer around me. Thus critting the one shot chance that I've got right now to get into that hangar bay, which is where I'm heading now.
Sweet. So you're just on a race as we have TIE fighters firing at you.
Right.
The bolts, the red bolts are behind the Belden Might as they're falling in, and we cut back to one of the TIE fighters that are like adjusting something on their little handles and trying to dial in. We see the Belden Might in like this vector graphic look as it's trying to fire on you. One of the TIE fighters is blown out of space by Pax, and of course he screams like, "Yeah, suck it!" because that's Pax's kind of thing. And up ahead, Orana, you see the hangar, and there are a couple of turrets that are coming online, and they're going to be firing at you. This will be your attempt to fill in that fourth clock and successfully deliver your folks. And yeah, I think is this the surveyor point? Is that the move we trigger here? Or do you think there's something else you're leaning for?
I think all the description, I don't like the word surveyor in this situation, but I think the description is perfect.
Right. The move feels right, but surveyor is a weird name for the move of what you're trying to do. But I think it's the move will trigger here. So let's have you roll with your ship's savvy. So you're rolling +2.
What's this rolling only 2d6 thing? I don't get it.
It feels so weird. You guys, where's my third die?
Ooh. Okay. Got an 8.
On a 7 to 9, choose. You take some damage along the way, or the course is permanently closed after you. Interesting.
Well, luckily I don't have. Well, do I have other? You said there was an X-wing. Has anybody been following me?
Yeah. We could say that X-Wing is following you. Yeah, I'm into that.
Well, then I need them to come along with me. So I think the Belden might take some damage.
Nice. So the Beldamite takes the damage. Let's mark. Hey, we can mark a condition on the Beldamite. We never do this. Let's do it. Mark a condition on the Beldamite.
And this is pretty interesting because I spent the trust the Belden might had in me. So it's already in tension with me.
Yeah, I think she gives you tension right now.
I think we mark unstable.
I think that feels absolutely right. So you mark unstable, and the Belden might. I think it's a thing where one of those turrets hits it right at the last moment, and she goes hurtling in, and maybe like you end up going in a little bit on your side and kind of skating, throwing sparks as you head into the hangar bay. You like slam into the top of one of the TIE fighters that was trying to fly out of the way, and it slams into one of the walls. Because this is like giant hangar, like this is Star Wars hangar, right? So and finally comes to a stop, and we end the scene.
Wait.
Oh, yes.
When we come to the stop for the first time in the entire series, the legs pop out properly because I've been working on that the entire series.
Oh, that's awesome. The legs pop out, and there's this like pregnant pause, and their stormtroopers are charging and firing at the ship. Your guys are trying to rouse themselves up. They're shaking their heads. They're getting going. And we end the scene with the Belden Might marking tension with you, Orana.
Nice.
Because you've earned it. Belden Might is not happy with you right now. Perfect 3-point landing. Awesome. Let's take our mid-game break. So we open the scene in this stark white room. The door opens, and in walks Sath, no binders, and Nyx. And when the door closes, Nyx, we see that this is like some kind of, like, this might be Nyx's room. You see a bed. You see everything. I think I'm going for the total 70s sci-fi of like everything in one color kind of thing. So you see that there are counters, like a dresser of some kind, but it's definitely recessed back into the wall. So there's lots of clean lines. And there's, of course, the stark white or the stark black of space, the inky black of space looking out of this one viewing port that's in a rectangle, like a rounded rectangle. And we have the bed, and then there's this display, and she comes and she places her lightsaber on the little like sword display, like a the katana wakizashi on, and in a more if she were to, she puts the helmet up on top of the thing, and then she starts to unbuckle the armor, like the carapace of her armor. And she says, "There's Alderani wine in that cabinet there. Pour us some."
There's no reason to say no to that. Although I do remember the last time Sath was drinking. Was that the last time? Was the first time. So this is where you come to relax.
It is. It's the only place on the entire ship where there are no cameras, no microphones, no one listening, no one watching.
Who would dare listen or watch you when you didn't wish it so? Seems suicidal.
Seems so. But then Zinj sent an ISB agent to my front door. One that fooled you.
Oh, Pack.
Yes.
He's a double agent.
And she's down to just like this black kind of crop top. She turns and looks at you, and you see across her stomach there's this old scar. It looks like maybe somebody sliced her across the midsection. Something that was not sleek.
Just as Zinj works in a way for you, Pack was working for me. I know it might be a bit of surprise, but Seth gestures towards that gruesome scar, but you've survived much worse surprises. Hands her the glass of the wine.
She takes it, considers it for a moment. Every sip of an Alderani wine makes what is remaining even more expensive, because it can never be made again. The vineyards had no rival.
Seems a terrible waste to have destroyed something so useful. Perhaps a lesson that we should learn for ourselves.
Why would you have used that trick to get onto the ship? You have me at a disadvantage, it seems, Sathran.
You've answered your own question then. I need all the advantages I can get against one as well versed in the Force, and let's be honest, galactic politics as yourself. I know you've sensed the power in me, but I'm an innocent lamb compared to the wolf that I sit before.
Your words come too easy, Sathran Gov. You're trying to seduce me with petty compliments.
Is it working?
What do you want?
It seems as if we want the same thing. I'm just not sure if we want it done in the same way. Tell me your plans for Zinj.
Plans for Zinj are brutish and quite nasty. Execute him in a very public, undeniable way. Prove to all of his sycophants, hangers-on, that their hope for Palpatine's empire is useless.
A potent message. But what happens then to this ship that you gallivant about the galaxy and these quarters, this wine that his credits have bought you?
I'll take what was his. This ship will be part of an armada. Why would I care about it? You have learned to become too attached to things like that tick. Belden tick.
Oh, okay. It's like that's such a weird reference. I don't even get what you mean. So wait, is she saying I misunderstood or didn't understand? She's saying I would just take his stuff, or I don't care what happens with stuff.
She's saying, I'd take his stuff. I don't care about this one piece of stuff. I'd have a lot of stuff. You care too much about the Belden Might, which she called the Belden Tick because, you know, she knows what it's named. But she's,
Yeah, the attempted purposeful disdain.
Yes.
And you think that when you kill their leader, all of his sycophants will fall in line behind you?
Or they will fall to my saber. Yes.
one thing I've learned on the tick is that one person cannot fly a ship on their own. I appreciate the message you would send from a very public execution of Zinj, but it might be too similar to destroying the vineyards of Alderaan to send a message.
You think I would make him some kind of martyr?
If you give folks something to push back against, they generally will. But if he or anyone else would pick up his would-be crown, died quietly and mysteriously, be nothing to fight against. And no figurehead, and kind of somewhat forcefully, but like not hostilely taps her at this point to fight against.
Are you proposing to become a patsy? That
Inquiring
you
head
kill
tilt.
Zinj? And I step in to fill the void?
It would make things easier.
Because you're lying to me, Sathran Gov. You'll still be forced to kill him. And I will still win.
I'm so glad you didn't give me another tiresome thread about my friends and loved ones.
No, I've realized how fruitless that is. I thought your love for them would have been a strong enough motivator, but it is not.
So just a timeout. I feel like at some point, one of the other things that's happening may interrupt this conversation.
I agree.
So I don't know if you want to cut to that.
Yeah, I think that's probably a thing. So maybe we sum it up with her clinking a glass with you when her comm unit goes off. But she's taken it off, right? So we hear the bleep of it, and it's obviously some kind of urgent message. And she doesn't look to you for like permission to go, but she does look at you for a moment before she moves over to pick up the comm unit. What do you do?
I'm gonna give this a shot. So like if she's reaching out, I kind of put my hand on over her hand to kind of gently push it away and be like, isn't that something they can deal with on their own?
Nice. Now I think I'd like to see you turn on the charm.
Yeah. We'd all like to see that happen at some point.
We all would. Now you're acting on the void, right? So does that give you advantage?
Oh, does it?
No, it doesn't talk about
Sadly,
that.
it does not.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that anything does. Oh, wait a minute. I know something that does. Because a move I have not used in forever, Stowaway, once per session, explain how you learned a useful trick back in the day and who you learned it from. So I'm picturing, I don't want to get too much into my whole backstory about genders on Kifu, but I think that like it is pretty standard, her and him, and that Sath got lumped in with the boys. And like all the boys are sitting around talking about like, oh, you do this, and then you get the girls to like you, and like and some of the raunchier stuff. But there was one of the boys that was like a little more tender and a little more understanding of Sath's like sensibilities, who was like, the whatever body parts those guys are talking about, being able to hold the hand, that's how you really touch someone.
Ooh. Oh, that's nice.
And so Sath kind of spins it over and takes Nyx's hand, which if we get a 6- maybe the last thing that he does.
So by using that stowaway, you get advantage. Is that right?
Get advantage.
Oh my. And you are charming, so you're rolling with warm, which is a 1 for you.
Yeah,
Good chances. Here we go.
we'll see, but dice will dice on you.
Dice gonna dice.
Oh, it was quite good actually. Yeah, it's a 12.
That is good. I think it's a thing where you take her hand, and she, for a moment, there's that immediate snap of indignation. She searches your eyes and finds what she hopes to see and relaxes. And you take the comm unit away from her. And then we immediately cut to Pat Creech flying through the air and tumbling onto the floor of a detention center holding cell, woken up, and you see a stormtrooper. A little people bubble antennae.
Ice talks are kind of.
And one of the stormtroopers he looks at you for a moment and then he scoffs, says something along the lines of rebel scum, and closes the door. What do?
Well, this is where I wanted to be, darn it, because that was the plan. Sure. Plan C. I don't think this is Pat Creech's first time in an Imperial detention cell, or at least he's put a lot of people in one.
I'd buy that. Yeah, I'd buy that. Both those statements, actually.
Yeah. So immediately he starts like picking up the floor plates or trying to find an exit to this cell. He's gonna try, get into the Jeffries tube, as it were. We're at Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Okay. Man, you cursed yourself now. The dice are not going to love you mixing.
Also, I've
don't
got
cross the
savvy.
streams.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I'm guessing this is scan your surroundings, right? I'm trying to, which I chose to take disadvantage on savvy. So that's 3d6 with 0 modifier, taking the worst 2.
Nice. This is a great idea.
It's a great idea.
I love him.
That's not bad. That's a 7.
Well, perfect.
I get 1, don't I? Yeah.
You do get 1 question.
What here could I use to break myself out of this jail cell?
Ooh. Tell me if you think this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to disassemble parts of your arm to be able to.
Oh, I'm good with that.
There's some components in your arm that you can use to pry open one of the floorboards, but then you're going to be in a not a like mechanical disadvantage, but what appears to be a disadvantage.
Right. Okay. So like there's like a spare servo that Pack pops out, and he puts it on like a little jack or something, and it pries open an opening to this tube, and he looks around and gets himself into the little access tunnel, right? And he's making his way towards let's see, what is the plan? So Arana has landed the troops. Sath is with Nyx, I think the plan is to take this thing out before it destroys the base, right? So
seems wise.
yeah. You want plan D indeed. So I'm gonna try and get to the reactor core because that is where I told Sath to go to as the quote unquote rendezvous point or something. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get there without being noticed, which sounds like I might be holding it together.
Yeah. So you drop down into this. It's not the sleek Jeffries tube, right? Like you're underneath the catwalk and there's stormtroopers walking above you and you're crawling along, talking about, come to the coast. It'll be a few laughs or something along those lines. And let's see if you can keep together, not get lost, and find your way to your destination.
Rolling plus edge. So +3. Bless you. Just double checking. Yeah, okay. Only 2 dice though. That is a 10.
Okay. On a 10 with keep it together, you may ask me one question. Yeah. You want to think about it?
Yeah, let me think about that one.
All right, don't forget. Make yourself a note. Otherwise, I'll forget because I do that when I cut away sometimes. We cut back to a harried fight in the hangar of this Star Destroyer. Orana, the turncoats, as they call themselves, are doing their best to account for being rebellion soldiers. But you guys are outnumbered 3-1. This is a desperate situation that you found yourself in. What do we see you doing? You talking on mute, Kai?
Talking's a strong word. Mumbling to be more accurate. I have an idea.
Okay.
What I was thinking was getting everybody back into, letting us be backed into the ship itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then using Imperial codes to have the hangar bay drop the shields and start sucking stuff out.
Wow.
But that's pretty murderous, and I don't know that that's who I am.
Well, I mean, sucking people into space, shooting them with blasters.
That's true.
What's the difference?
I imagine it would only last for 3 seconds before something else overrode it.
Makes sense.
But if I could pull it off, then it might even the fight out, make it more of a possibility of winning. So if you're on board with that, I'm not hearing a no.
No, not at all. I love this idea. I'm actually just trying to see what mechanics do we apply. I feel like you're running like you stole something, right? Do you think maybe it's closer to keep it together than most of the basic moves? Are there any ship moves? I don't think so.
I could touch the void.
Oh, that's wild. I So you're trying to touch the void. You're basically trying to pull off this crazy maneuver. It's almost like in Star Wars D6, you're not force sensitive, but you do occasionally draw upon the force. I like the idea. Let's see you roll plus strange. How strange is Arana?
I'm 0 strange.
Oh, you're neutral to
Oh.
it.
I'm thinking well, your plan is to like open the force field, shake things up,
Yes.
and like have the situation reset a little bit.
Yep.
Because I've got a thing I can do where I can spend trust with the force to guide someone through danger.
Oh,
And
please
you're
do that thing. That
Reaching
sounds so
out to the
fun.
force, so
Ooh, it could be one of those things where, like, you know, where Luke got the visions of what was going on around the world, like throughout the universe. Like, you might get that flash of Arana, like, backed into a corner and guide her with the Force to do the thing.
I'm just trying to think of like what I would got like as far as moving around, or I'm not sure what that would look like.
It could be the idea, like you suggest the idea she was already thinking of, or giving her the go ahead. Yeah, that's the way to go.
You know you guide me to which panel I need to go to.
Oh, there you go. That's interesting.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm thinking something about like when you don't like the situation you're in, change the situation.
Right. And so what I do is I yell at the turncoats to get like to retreat, but I'm running for that thing that they went to in the Death Star and in the Mandalorian, where it's like one tube with no railing around it, and you kind of have to, you know, move your way around to get to the right panel or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm putting myself into danger to do that.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah. Interesting.
And that does give you advantage on the roll now.
Yeah. Okay. I was just double checking all of my rolls.
So it's 3d6 plus 0 though.
Yeah. And roll. Wow.
Wow. That is a 10. That is a mighty good roll. Wow. On 10 plus, you wield the power with mastery. You're telling these guys to retreat, and I think Pax, who's maybe even like got a smoking hole where he's been shot at one point, but he's grabbed these firing 2 blaster rifles, and he screams like, "No, we never retreat, never surrender!" But Baku has your back, and he's like, "Come on, you idiot!" And they start pulling back into the ship, and you see that there's someone. There are a few stormtroopers that are scrambling and heading over towards an ATST. Maybe they're going to try to fire on the Beldamite with a larger weapon, but you have snuck your way around to mess with. Right, they're going to basically drop the force screen so that everything gets sucked out into space.
Again, I think it only lasts.
Yeah.
I think it only lasts for a few seconds. I don't really want to void everything anyway.
No, you're not. They've got.
I mean, there's an X-wing in here too, right? So like we're trying to.
Yeah, I think the X-wing at this point like is still flying, right? Like she's kind of inside the hangar and kind of whipping around and firing on stuff. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. So that makes it. So I yell a retreat. I start running. The troopers start firing. The X-wing curls around and fires on them. I tumble. I make it to the panel, and I let Sath's knowledge or the power of the force flow through me. I don't question it. I hit the switches. I do the things. I've never done this kind of thing before. Well, I have, but I've only ever done it with my recognition, right? Like I've piloted it this way before. This is pretty much the same thing as, you know, going through those buzz droids in the first session. It's just a different source of confidence and knowledge. And then I think there's like a scream of alarm when the force shield goes down. Like, you know, the ship will automatically just start telling, like blasting this noise that it's going down or whatever. Yeah, exactly. And she launches into the air backwards as like atmosphere gets voided, and she grabs onto a pole, and this TIE fighter pilot comes tumbling by, and she holds out a hand and grabs the pilot, but now has to decide, you know, do I survive by letting them go or not, if that's okay.
That's harsh. I love it.
I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah,
I just wanted to put that crux in there.
It's awesome. You're gonna have to come up with an answer, because I think that's a pretty pivotal thing. You see this TIE fighter pilot probably terrified.
Right.
Seeing you see scads of stormtroopers flying out into the void, freezing, dying, and he looks at you, and there's this like there's no oxygen. He can't make words, but he's just begging for you to save him.
I think I need to keep it together.
I think
And
so.
since I have no edge, that becomes a very interesting role.
I know, it's a lot tougher.
So
Been looking for a way to keep it together for you all along, and now you gave it to me. Thank you.
I do not. What I'm trying to avoid is letting. I like to avoid this pilot from dying, at least from in the current moment. Like,
Sounds good.
so I'd like to not let go. Let's see what happens. Oof! It's all in your court, Rich. It's all in your court.
Oh, it is. It so very is. Yeah. On a miss, it's just a miss. I think Arana, you have every intention of not letting go. You hold on to this guy's hand. He flies up. It's like those things you've seen in hurricanes, right? Like the person holding onto the pole. He's flying up in the air. Everything's sucking. And you see it, like the black leather glove that you wore when you were a TIE fighter pilot. Like, you can't hold,
Right
it's too
there.
slick.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. He's wearing one of those, right? And you can feel it starting to slip, and his eyes are on you when finally you grasp and the glove comes off, and he flies out into the void. And just seconds after he crosses that threshold, the force screen comes back up, and he's gone. All you have is that one glove, and I'd like for you to mark a condition.
Oh,
as a
yeah,
result
sure,
of that
of course.
failure.
I thought you were gonna have me mark tension with the Star Destroyer or something. Let's
Star
see.
Destroyer has full tension with you. 3 boxes.
Okay. I don't think I'm quite so warm anymore. I think I'm rather chilly at this point.
Yeah, there we go. But the act, Orana, cleared the deck, and the Republic troopers at this point, they come streaming out of the ship. You're out of the Belden Might, and they've taken over the hangar at this point. Who knows how long they'll hold it, but you guys have got it. let's cut to Pack Creech. Pack, you got a question.
My question: where are they holding Val and TA?
Awesome. Yeah, so you orient yourself, you know where to find the specific exhaust port, the engines, all the like, but then you see that they've moved. Oh, I'm gonna give you a hard choice. Val is in the same, if you remember, like everything's hexagonal, the detention block that you're in, she's in the same detention block. However, TA has been carted off to another part of the ship for disassembly.
Oh, it's a hard choice.
Yay.
Well, I had a plan for both of them, but we need an exit. So I go for Val.
Okay.
It's going to have TA guide their troopers, but, maybe I'll tell Val to do that
Maybe
before they source an exit.
What's the plan here? Is this a sneaky sneak? Are you going to go in guns blazing? What's your plan here?
I imagine I'm like scooting underneath the grate where they're holding Val, and I'm like, Val.
Pack?
Come on.
How did you get down there?
No time. Come on. And makes an exit so that Val can get in. We're going to need an exit. We're going to need an exit fast.
Oh, great. I agree. We really should have discussed that before we came on a Star Destroyer.
That's fair. That's fair.
And she climbs down and joins you. There's a lot of stormtroopers on a Star Destroyer. I just never really expected that it was filled with people. I thought there's a lot of wasted space.
Oh, no. Lots of troopers. We're going to need to avoid them to get to where we need to go. Saf will find their own way.
They always do.
But I'm guessing from all the alarms, Orana's already on the ship.
Good. I hope she brought the Belden Might.
I hope so too. I'm gonna have to go my own way.
Why?
Well, we have to take out the reactor, but someone's gonna have to stay there.
TA is a droid. Val, the engineer, says, and very capable. Probably could survive better in the cold of space.
It's true. Okay. I'll find TA.
You're not going to find TA. You're lying to me.
Listen, we're going to need an exit.
I think you need to turn on the charm here.
Okay.
Captain, old captain.
Old captain. Let's see. That's +3. I don't think I have advantage on this, though. Advantage. No, I have advantage for going into the cold. That's right. Okay. 2 dice. +3.
Cool. While you're doing that, I'll step away for 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Oh, you got a 9. Okay. Turning on the charm of 7 to 9, the opportunity is fleeting unless you overpromise or undercut your dignity. I just want to say, Alexi, I hope you're watching this. I love that big success. Like, there's no mechanical for it. It's all fictional, but
It is one
super
of the better
interesting.
persuasion moves I have seen. And I am going to overpromise by telling Val, and don't worry, I'll be there.
You better be. Because I bet that you would end up captain. And then she turns and starts crawling along. Cool. So I think we cut to Sath, who has successfully retrieved the comm unit to keep for now. Nyx unaware of what's going on her own ship.
I feel like we might be indisposed at this point.
I think maybe. I think that's like the level you had to like escalate to. It went from hands to lips to indisposed. Yeah.
Like a very
cool.
confused Sath, like, I don't know where this ended up, but okay.
Nice. And I think you're the force is going to reward you with
Interesting.
trust.
I wasn't sure which way you were going to go with that.
You found some connection. You reached out.
Yeah, I feel like the maybe unspoken is like, yeah, we're gonna do this plan, which I'm imagining
Yeah.
is like a epilogue plan.
Yeah. That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
until someone blows up the reactor core, and then we have to react to that.
I think maybe it's a thing where she's lying on Sath's chest. Some time has passed. And she moves her head up and says, together, we can do this.
Together, I think we could do a lot.
There's so much I can teach you, Sath. There's so much I want to show you. I tried to force you before, but now I'm offering it to you.
And I'm accepting. On my own terms. And they give like a coy smile at that point.
She chuckles. Everyone does. At least you're honest about it.
In the back of my mind, I am thinking like, I wonder what those klaxons were for. And do we actually need to do something? Like, I mean, I figured it was probably one of my friends decided to show up anyway. That by preventing Nyx from going, that would be helpful. Turns out, yes. But I think my friends definitely are wild cards.
I think she sits up, kind of wraps a bit of the blanket around her. We don't need Arta 2 anymore.
How do you feel about this ship? I know I get too attached to physical things, but there's a not insignificant chance my friends are trying to blow it up right now.
I have been unsuccessful in gathering most of these people to my idea. willing to let it go. I have a shuttle not far from here.
Fast
Let's leave.
and unobtrusive may be the way to get to Zinj and carry out our machinations.
I agree. She stands up and moves over to start putting her clothes back on, to dress quickly, to leave. Like this is what we're doing. She's going to leave the Star Destroyer with you. That's her plan. Leave the Star Destroyer with you on a shuttle, like a small ship. Not on the hangar, but like in a private hangar. Not far from here.
Definitely going along with that, at least for the time being.
Okay. Then there's no one. Like, there are a few stormtroopers in the hallway just outside. One of them says, Captain, we're having problems in the hangar. And she says, deal with it. She's got the helmet on, and the stormtrooper is left a little sputtering as two of you guys head into this shuttle.
Can I add something?
Yes.
This is where one of those little like shoebox black droids like rolls up, like sees who it is, and then flees off in the other direction.
I love the mouse droids. I love those guys. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Actually, I think it would be a kind of a cool moment here if Sath is going to a shuttle, Orana is like going into the Star Destroyer, and Pack is trying to get his way to the reactor core, but like just meet at a crossroads.
Oh, interesting.
Like a literal crossroads.
How about this? I like it. I don't think like it's three people all at a little crossroads, but maybe we have a little bit of levels to it. So there's a catwalk out to the shuttle, and she's striding ahead of you, Sathrin. And when you come out and you look, and I mean, it's got guardrails. I know it's not Imperial standards,
It's
but
not
they have
genre appropriate.
not genre appropriate. No, it's got guardrails. But as you look down, you see Pack is, I guess, scuttling along towards the engine area. And then, like there's this big open space. I'm kind of imagining a little bit like, if you remember Force Awakens, like that one long bridge type thing where Kylo Ren and Han Solo meet. And so you can see a whole lot of what's going on in the interior of the area. And how do you think, so if we try to bring where all three can see each other, where, Kai, do you think Orana is once things got cleared? Like, you guys don't want to just sit on the hangar. I'd imagine you want to, bite your way to the bridge, maybe? Head to the engines to blow those up? Like, what do you think?
Does the planet have the artillery to take out a defenseless?
No.
Okay.
They have ion cannons to basically ward off and hopefully like weaken, but they don't have the kind of firepower.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think this is far beyond where Orana even thought this was going to get to. So yeah, the bridge sounds appropriate. I mean, yeah, let's go with that. I absolutely want to go with that. We're trying to get to the bridge.
Cool.
Had Orana thought out this plan more than just, I'm going up there?
Well, certainly not before she had people get on the ship. I mean, she had a plan to how to get into the hangar bay and get them on there. I mean, the player doesn't have a plan. Orana might have thought of something.
Yeah, I mean, I've got these nascent ideas. I don't really know anything. So I guess we could the goal would be to land the ship on the planet. Then it's up to them to fight it out with the stuff that they do have. So
take over the ship, force them to land on the planet, not crash into the planet, but land on the planet.
Well, it depends on how cooperative the.
Sure, that tracks.
Yeah. So we can either be like, stuck in the planet, or we can try landing it or whatever. There's some natural force that's going to completely die because of this. But yeah, land the ship was the goal. Land the ship was the goal.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks for letting me think that out. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, we're nearing probably last live scenes and epilogue. So yeah, Pack, there's this moment where you see that Arana and the Republic troopers are trying to take the bridge. Sath and Nyx are exiting the area. It looks like they're headed towards the shuttle. You're not far from the engines. Pack, what do you do?
This is gonna go great.
It always goes great. I love it.
I'm gonna try and touch the void here. And I see Sath, and I'm, it's maybe not a totally conscious thing, but we have this, like, we've spent so much time on the Belden of Might together, whether or not Pack was maybe just in the background somewhere. But sort of like, I thought you told me you were the last hope of the galaxy. It's just like the thought that's running through Pack's mind as he sees Sath, with Nyx getting on a shuttle to escape. It's just that moment when Sath first told Pack that they were the last hope of the galaxy. And look at you now. What are you doing? And I want to just, like, as I shook Nyx, I want to shake Sath. Does that work for you, Sath?
You're on mute now, Rich.
A lot of that was just, oh yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So just imagine that happening.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. Rolling -1. Oh, that's a 3.
Wow.
The void touches me none too gently.
Yeah, I think the thing where you reach out and Sath, you hear it like a whisper, but Nyx hears it as well. And she turns to you, Sath, doesn't act against Pack, and says, "You're leaving them behind, right? This isn't a double cross. This isn't treachery. We are going together."
I was thinking the thing I was going to do before Pack did that. Doesn't really make sense now.
Sorry.
No. Things keep moving.
I have to say that in all of the Star Wars stuff, you never see partnership, or maybe I've missed a movie or two, but you never see partnership between a Jedi and a Sith. And to see that actually happening in this game, like, warms my heart and blows my mind. Now you can betray her, do what you need to do if that's the best thing for your character or whatever. But if you work with her, I am in awe because I've just never seen that in the fiction before. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I have no intention of betraying her. It was
Okay.
more of what I was going to try to do with Pack before leaving.
I see.
And I don't know what that is. I think it is just she turns and I see like the look in her eyes of like having been betrayed so many times, and like not that, oh, you're not going to listen to them, right? But like, oh my God, it's happening again kind of look. And just like gently but firmly direct her to the shuttle and we keep walking.
And I think that's when Pack has to mark a condition as you see that it was not to be. It was not as you thought. It was a lie.
And I think you hear hope comes in many forms.
Nice.
I'm chilly now. All my friends have betrayed me.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Sweet. So looking at time, we have Pack watching, and maybe Arana, you look across an area and you see the shuttle taking off. You know that Sathran Gov has left the Star Destroyer.
Could I add one thing in that doesn't change the result of all of that?
Sure. What's that?
Okay. So we're on a crosswalk, like we're running towards the bridge on a crosswalk, and you guys are leaving the bridge area towards the shuttle. We're like far apart from each other, like the catwalks are far apart from each other. And I see the two of you, and I tell the group to follow, was it Baku, the other Imperial guy?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm like, get him there. And I turn and I pull my blaster out, and I take a couple of shots, and I think Nyx just stops, like the Kylo Ren stops the blaster shots, midair or whatever. And they get deflected off as you're walking, almost ignoring me. And I'm just staring at Sath as they leave, like just in confusion.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. You get to soak in dramatically all the betrayal. I love it. That is cool. Good. I want to see what Pack does at this point. I think the New Republic troops in Arana, you guys are doing your best to try to take the bridge. There's like, huge door, and they're trying to slice into it. There are troopers that are stormtroopers are still trying to press in on you guys. Fighting is harried and hectic. Pack, what are you doing?
So I think at this point, with the troopers taking over the ship, Pack has changed plans once more. And blowing up the Star Destroyer at this point, this is a useful asset, right? For if they can take this over, that's all the better for the rebellion. And so Pack goes to that recently vacated hangar and sees the Belden Might there, and it's just kind of listed on its side.
Yeah, she looks rough.
And it's got like the broken landing gear. And if this thing is coming to a landing, it may not survive. And Pack gets into the Belden Might and flips a couple of the switches and turns it on, and just kind of falls out of the hangar bay. And we see it kind of tumble a little bit and then just go into hyperspace. You got a new ship, Arana.
So let me ask you this one question. Is Val on the ship with Pack?
Ooh. Yeah, I think so. And maybe
Cool.
even like TA has reassembled
saved TA.
themselves. Yeah, or like, I like to think that TA was like going to be disassembled and was like just, you know, playing along. And is a tactical droid, like it can do everything. So it like stumbles across to the thing by assembling a leg on itself. Yeah.
Nice. No disassemble Johnny 5. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sweet. So Pack takes off. Oh man, this is so good. I think the last thing we have to resolve is what goes on with Orana here. I feel like
So
I'd like to put this to some kind of roll to see if you're successfully able to take it.
oh, okay, cool. Throw my weight around.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This is not going to go well. All right. Let's see here. Oof. That's a 5.
Remember when I told you to mark those times when the dice were kind?
Yeah.
Remember it when the dice became fickle and cold again.
I mean, so Pat, I have an edge to give, and so does Saf. To make it a 7.
Well, I mean, we have mutual trust pact.
Yeah, mutual
You can just
trust
knock me
means
up.
you get to roll a third die, right?
It just bumps it up
Bump
a
up.
track.
That's right. It's not a roll advantage; it's a bump up. So it becomes a 7 to 9.
Actually, you don't have mutual trust.
Yeah, I spent my trust with her.
Oh man, I love this new mechanic of like spinning trust.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
That's
I
awesome.
We have mutual
Still-
tension. Mutual tension allows me to mess with you
Coping.
if I'm not.
Yeah, coping mechanism.
Yeah, I can mess. Yeah, make you the brunt of my coping mechanism, which is hard to do with death
Sats
sticks.
ought to have mutual
Just a
trust,
note.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I spend edge, but then it goes up a category, or I spend the
Yeah.
trust. I forget which.
It's mutual trust. When you help a crewmate, you have mutual trust with spend and edge to upgrade their result to the next tier.
So what I'm picturing that as is on the comms of the shuttle that I'm in with Nyx. He goes, Captain, they're trying to take the bridge. We're under attack. We're undermanned. And I just kind of turn to him and say, let them have the ship. It'll make undermining Zinj all the more easy.
Ooh, nice. That pushes it up to a 7 to 9. So Orana, choose one below. It's taxing, lose all your edge. You can't choose that because you have no edge. It's grueling market condition. You lose something. Gear your footing and allies trust. GM says what?
That's keep it together, not throw your weight around.
Ah, I'm a doof. I'm so sorry. Dang it. Okay, let me find that move. Holy crap. Why was my brain just like stuck on that? It's messy, loud, or time consuming. GM's choice. GM's choice. Okay.
My vote's for messy.
Yeah, it's messy. I think it's messy. I think you and the crew, mostly turncoats in this squad, you lose over half your number. And finally the slicing is over. Door opens up and the bridge crew, there's like a whole new squad of stormtroopers, all these Imperial officers on the deck, and they surrender. Just drop their weapons and surrender without a fight. And Rana, you've taken the ship with a squad in an old Republic freighter that is now gone, and friends that left you. And when you look among the faces of the squad that helped you take it, you realize Baku isn't among them.
Damn.
It was messy. I think that's the point where the credits will start to roll and we do a few epilogues.
Cool.
Cool. So, Pac, what's your epilogue on the third time that we've like finished this series?
So are we using the retirement moves then?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, because this is tricky. Because I can either, because I only have trust things, I can either turn in and be an inventor, or I can be a martyr. And I don't think I really left myself in a position to do martyr. An inventor feels so weird.
Can you explain the retirement one more time, just so I understand it? Because I'm not sure what.
Yeah, so just reading this, retire your character by trading in the relevant basic crew roles and an advanced crew role associated with either trust or tension. Well, maybe we don't have to use it. I mean, this would be like,
Yeah, we don't have to. It's play test, and so I think you were throwing it out there.
Oh man, I was gonna go for martyr. I may have been, aiming for martyr the entire session, but it just didn't quite work out that way at the end. I think we see Pac on the Belden Might, and it's just filled with droids with the with the TUI and TA and what was the other one?
Someone let Proxy out.
Proxy, yeah, someone let Proxy out. And Pac is it looks like that maybe it's just yet another adventure of the Belden Might, right? And it's like dodging through asteroids, and Pac is flying around, and then it pulls up to this like asteroid base in the middle of some forgotten part of Zinja's empire, and like part of the Belden Might opens up on the landing pad, and there's all these people there arranged like they're going to be some sort of reception for the people on board, but it opens up and there's just this like cook line and the people start forming a line and coming up for the food, and the Belden Might has transitioned into a traveling food truck once more, with more food, and it's some rebel base, right, that they've been, he's like gone through the blockade to deliver food.
That's wild.
The giant porg rotating on the top of the mic.
Arado, what is your epilogue?
Okay. I'm going to trade in pilot and my trust role for hotshot. The question is, what extremely dangerous run do you manage that changes the balance of power? And after a lot of talking, a lot of negotiating, and a lot of promises to the New Republic, Arana shows up on her father's doorstep in a Star Destroyer and tells him that the Besh money will now be supporting the winning people of the New Republic.
Wow.
And she does it in a way that he has absolutely no possibility of saying no to it.
That is delightful. Oh, that's good. That's real good.
So now all the Besh, I'm telling him that all Besh money will be going towards supporting
Republic.
supporting the Republic.
That's huge. And one of your older sisters, of course, Vasya, is all about it. Kind of, sort of. Maybe not all about it, but you know, you've got a Star Destroyer, so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And then finally, what's the epilogue for Saturn Gov?
I had looked at the retirement options before we started. And they're like, no, especially that one, no. And I'm going to use it. Stowaway and a trust roll for betrothed. I didn't think there's any way that would. And yeah, the session kind of made it happen. I don't know that it's an actual marriage.
Sure.
But
it's
like
a partnership.
Yeah, and it's somewhat romantic, at least.
And you can't get her out of your head, right? Like literally, she's in your head.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that would be a horrible relationship. Were you thinking about other women? You know I was. You were in there. And I mean, I think that is the alliance that, like, I'm not sure exactly how far it goes, but I think it's almost like a checks and balances thing where, like, if anyone gets too much power, it's sort of like we tamp it down, starting with Zinj.
But that is another story. Very cool. Very, very cool. We're over time. And I actually need to go. So I'm going to say, if you guys want to do stars over email, I would appreciate it. If you don't have time for it, that's totally cool. But I am going to go ahead and end things now for this session. Thank you all so much for playing, for sticking through, for like scheduling, rescheduling, and being part of this, playing from cabins, playing from through emergencies and everything. So thank you so much for this. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone. It's been awesome.